Wow, that's one of the weirdest things I've seen for a while. Let's just hope that perhaps they dress that way when the tote reopens.
I came to Melbourne in 1977 and started playing in small pubs in the inner city. Hearts, Martinis, the Kingston Hotel, out the back of Cafe Paradiso. Some of these places have gone, but their legacy lives on in the venues under threat today. You don't learn how to write a song at school. You don't do a TAFE course in how to play in front of an audience. These places were my universities. I still go to music pubs and cafes all the time to do some extra study, do a refresher course. And I go to see people like Rick. Rick's one of Melbourne's finest musicians. He's played in lots of bands over the years and given me and many others much joy.
The reason I'm here, apart from all the fine attributes that Paul has talked about, is because as far as I know, not wanting to steal anybody else's thunder, but my little gig on Thursday night that I was holding down for 4.5 years was the first one to go under this legislation.
I grew up in this amazing city of ours, and I remember from the age of 13, 14, I was singing in the live venues around town in my brother's jazz band, and from then on in various cover bands around town. Before, I think a few years later, I got the courage to do my own solo set at an open mic night in a tiny little music venue in Paran. And I remember I got my first check for $50 for my first gig, and it was so amazing. I was in utter bewilderment that I could actually make a living doing something so fucking fun. And at the time I took it for granted that the abundance of local small live music venues that support local musicians. But as soon as I ventured out of Melbourne, I realised how lucky we are, how unique our city is. And that's why I'm here today with you guys.
The Melbourne Hotel, my local, has been hosting music for about 20 years. It's a neighbourhood pub, it's a music venue, it's an accidental institution. It's one of those great little pubs with a little stage, a little PA, and a little man with bad teeth who gets a fabulous sound.
There are 4.5 million beautiful stories out there in this big naked city, and every night and day we have the opportunity to frock up and hear a couple of hundred of them set to jazz, grindcore, hardcore, folk, fuck yeah, metal, hip-hop and 3-chord rock and roll. The stories told in smaller venues offer us the chance to connect with them directly and maybe be transcended by them. There is absolutely a high risk of enlightenment, a high risk of involvement, and a high risk of participation. One of my favourite of the 4.5 million stories is of a young lady playing drums in post-hardcore experimental groups, starting her own thing, naming it after my favourite 4 AM snack in homage to the midget pancakes her mum made when the pantry was low. She in turn wanted to write and perform such sweet tunes for her mum when her health was low. Charming stages in the town she now plays all over the galaxy. Music is life affirming, and music doth soothe the savage beast. You may know her as Pikelet, but I know her as my new hero, Miss Evelyn Morris, everybody.
Thank you. I don't actually really have any grand statements to make. I kind of just wanted to come out here and talk about my experience because I know that it's the same as so many of you. Like, I'm looking at all these people and seeing all these people I know are musicians as well, and are musicians that only ever play to less than 100 people, you know, and we love it. That's what we want to do. For the last 9 or 10 years I've been playing in 6 or 7 bands at a time, and it's been the most enriching experience of my life. I've met the best people that I know. Like, I've met the best people that I think I've met, you know, I think in the world, like, and And all these people have enriched my life in ways that I can't even describe. And one of the main ones is that they're constantly challenging me musically, and this community is a community that challenges each other and inquires into music and explores expression, human expression. It's really important, because if you're expressing yourself, you don't want to beat each other up, you know?
Hi Melbourne, how you going? Yes, Claire Bowditch is the name, and when I was 2 and first started playing in Melbourne, down at the Gaslight Radio in stores, I always knew that I was part of something special. I haven't prepared anything to say because I think just by looking at me and me looking at you, we know we belong to the same tribe. This is our little gang. Thank God for community radio. Thank God also for people like the Slam organisers, who were the ones who got everything going here today. I'd like to pay my respects to all the venues in Melbourne that have closed today. Not today, but you know, that have closed. I remember seeing Jeff Buckley play down at Gaslight there. I remember seeing our beautiful dear Auntie Ruby Hunter and Uncle Archie playing at the Continental. God bless them, and condolences to Archie. And it's these kind of women and men who make up our music scene, and I've got one such woman here on stage with me. She's the original sweetheart from that ARIA award-winning band, the Habibis. It's Irene Bella, who's here to talk to you a little bit about world music and what she knows about the world generally.
Do you love rock and roll? Do you love bossa nova? Do you love Greek music? Do you love Italian music? Do you love music? Right. When 30 years ago, I had some friends that came from Athens, from Greece, and they came to Melbourne to visit. And I took them out into the city, and there was nothing open. You couldn't get a drink, you couldn't see any live music, and they thought that Melbourne was the worst city in the world. 30 years later, in fact last year, these friends came out again and visited me. And I took them to a gig I was playing at. I was playing with the Habibis and Kavisha Madzela trio in Northcote. The gig finished. I walked out with my Greek friends, very European. To the left of me was, I think it was bar 303, there was a Serbian gypsy band. Yeah, let's hear it for bar 303. And there was a Balkan Serbian band playing so wild next to us. To the right, I could hear Jenny M. Thomas playing Aussie folk music at Open Studio. Across the road at Wesleyan, I heard some amazing bluegrass music. We went on and I took them to hear some jazz at Bennett's Lane. Yep. And it was amazing, and they were very, very impressed because they wouldn't get to hear that kind of diversity in Athens, of that kind of music on a regular basis, all within the period of 3 hours.